Welcome to Champions Code. I'm your host, Kane Swift. Today on Champions Code, imagine walking away from millions at the height of your power, defying everyone's expectations. Today, we unravel the story of Jim Brown, a gladiator who dared to be more than just an athlete, and discover how his choices can ignite your own path to defying limitations and creating a legacy that truly matters. The headlines screamed of his dominance: 8 rushing titles in 9 seasons, never missed a game, the most unstoppable force the NFL had ever seen. Yet on that summer night in 1966, Jim Brown sat alone in his study, staring at newspaper clippings with eyes that burned not with triumph, but with something deeper. Something that would soon shock the sports world to its core. You might think you know this story, another tale of athletic greatness. But what if I told you this was about something far more profound? About a man who, at the absolute peak of his powers, walked away from it all. Not because he had to, but because staying would have meant being less than who he truly was. The Georgia clay still clung to his shoes as young Jim Brown made his way home from school. The year was 1945, and the air hung thick with more than just southern humidity. It carried the weight of segregation, of separate but equal water fountains and sidewalk protocols. But even then, something set Jim apart. When others lowered their eyes, he met gazes directly. When others stepped aside, he held his ground. You could see it in the way he carried himself. This wasn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. This was dignity refusing to bow. Syracuse University, 1956. The stadium erupts as Jim scores his 43rd point against Colgate, a performance unlike anything seen before in college football. The record books need rewriting, but when the Heisman Trophy votes are counted, Jim's name is conspicuously absent from the winner's circle. The message is clear: excellence alone isn't enough. Not for someone like him, not in this America, but rather than break him, this slight hardens his resolve. In this moment, you can see the seeds of something greater taking root. The NFL had never seen anything like him. At 62 and 232 pounds, he moved with a combination of power and grace that seemed to defy physics. Defenders bounced off him like rain off a windshield. 8 rushing titles in 9 years, a career average of 104.3 yards per game. Numbers that still stand today, untouched by time. But if you looked closely, you could see that Jim Brown was playing a different game entirely. Football wasn't the end goal. It was a means to an end, a platform being built brick by brick for something larger. When Jim Brown walked into Art Modell's office in 1966, he wasn't just the best running back in football. He was football itself. The face of the sport, the standard by which all others were measured. Which made what happened next all the more extraordinary. Modell, the Cleveland Browns owner, threatened fines if Jim didn't report to training camp, choosing instead to finish filming The Dirty Dozen in London. Jim's response: he walked away. At age 29, at his peak, the sports world was stunned, but they had missed the point entirely. This wasn't an ending, this was a beginning. The year was 1967, and Muhammad Ali stood firm in his refusal to be drafted. While others turned their backs, Jim Brown organized what would become known as the Cleveland Summit. Picture it: Brown, Bill Russell, and other prominent black athletes gathered to support Ali's stance against the Vietnam War. This wasn't about sports anymore. This was about something far more fundamental: the right to stand by one's principles, regardless of the cost. You could see in Jim's eyes the same fire that had driven him to walk away from football. The gladiator had become a warrior for change. If you're enjoying Champions Code, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, The Champion's Edge. Learn the elite mindset of warriors like Jordan and Phelps to intelligently outperform. Now, back to the episode. While others marched, Jim built. The Black Economic Union emerged from his vision of economic empowerment for the African American community. His American program opened its doors to gang members and prison inmates, offering them a path to rehabilitation. His own home in LA became a sanctuary, its front door deliberately left unlocked as a symbol of trust and accessibility. This wasn't the path most expected from a football legend. But then again, Jim Brown had never cared much for others' expectations. Success breeds scrutiny, and Jim's life wasn't without its shadows. Allegations of violence against women surfaced repeatedly. His support of Donald Trump in 2018 confused many who had seen him as a civil rights icon. These complexities force us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Real change makers rarely fit into neat moral boxes. Today's athletes who use their platform for social causes walk a path that Jim Brown helped forge. His record of 5.22 yards per carry still stands, but his real legacy isn't in the record books. It's in the lives transformed through his programs. It's in the economic initiatives he championed. It's in showing that true power isn't just about physical dominance or athletic achievement. It's about the courage to be exactly who you are, even when the world demands something else. Jim Brown passed away on May 18, 2023, but his story isn't finished. It continues through you. Think about it. How many times have you compromised who you are to meet others' expectations? How often have you chosen the safe path over the right one? Jim Brown's life teaches us that real success isn't about achieving greatness in one arena. It's about having the courage to walk away from success to pursue purpose. Remember that night in 1966 when Jim sat alone with those newspaper clippings? Now you understand what was burning in his eyes. It wasn't just defiance, it was clarity. The clarity that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for. They cheered for the gladiator, but they feared the man, because the man refused to be anything less than his full self. This is your moment of clarity, your chance to stop playing by others' rules and start living by your own principles. What will you walk away from? What will you walk toward? The path won't be easy. It wasn't for Jim Brown. But as his life showed us, the only failure is in not being true to who you are. The world will always cheer for the gladiator. Your task is to have the courage to be the man. On the next episode of Champions Code, imagine if the relentless pursuit of perfection was the driving force behind another legendary NFL figure. After witnessing Jim Brown's defiance in the face of adversity, you won't believe how Jerry Rice's fear of failure pushed him to unprecedented heights. From rural Mississippi to NFL stardom, his story is not just about football, but the intense inner battle that fueled his success. Don't miss this week's emotional dive into the mind of another American football icon. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, The Champion's Edge. 7 days, 7 champion habits. Train your mind like an Olympian and outmaneuver competitors while putting in less effort. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/cc. Thanks for watching.